Indian agriculture is on the crossroads. Younger generation is moving away from their farms. Shortage of farm laborers is one of the major problems. NREG, rice 2 rupee a kilogram and many other government programs are making the laborers lazy and unproductive. This has worsened the situation further. As a result, farm mechanization is getting more importance. Many machineries and power tools have entered our farms. Even the traditional farmers started using such machines. However, any technology is not totally perfect and cannot replace entire labor force. We may have to make changes in our farming system, crops, and varieties. Even then, for the continuation of farming, farm mechanization is inevitable now. Your Shramjeevi visualizes few useful technologies in this documentary film. Multi-purpose weed cutter, motorized milking machine, electric fence, Astra dryer and polytunnel dryers are shown in detail. Farm productivity is comparatively less and cost of production is more in our country. Hence, we are not competitive in the world agriculture trade. Inefficient farm management and more dependence on manpower is the main reason. Youngsters are happy to work on the farm with machines, if not as a farm labor. Machineries and power tools improve the efficiency of the worker and complete the work in time. This will bring more yield and profit. Even the partial farm mechanization can bring down the pressure on the labor force in the peak season. We introduce multi-purpose weed cutter first. This is the first machine widely accepted by our farmers in recent times. Basically, this is a weed cutter, but it has become multi-purpose equipment on our farms. We find both 2-stroke and 4-stroke models of various capacities from many companies in the open market. We have used Oleomac and Stihl machines for our demonstration. Most of the popular 2-stroke models have 1.8 to 2.1 HP lightweight aluminium body petrol engine. It consumes 600 to 900 ml oil mixed petrol per hour depending on the work. Average total weight of the equipment is 7 to 8 kilograms. Hence, the operator never feels it heavy in operation. Most of the models hang on the shoulder like this, and vibration is also less. Hence, it exerts very less strain on the operator. However, the operator should be quick enough to cover more area in a specified time. Cutting tool is a nylon rope of 2.7 to 3 mm thickness. This head attached at the end holds 10 to 12 meters of this rope winded inside. Both ends of the rope come out of these two holes for 6-inch length. This rope, rotating at 10,000 rpm, cuts any weed up to finger thickness. The flexibility of the rope enables uninterrupted weeding, even if there are stones hidden in between. However, wearing and breaking of the rope will be more in rocky surface. An experienced operator spends 5 to 7 meters of rope per acre. New operator needs more length. Nylon rope of good quality costs 10 to 12 rupees per meter. Operator has to knock the revolving head on the ground like this to release required length of rope from inside. Flexible rope and hanging method of the machine enables weeding even on undulated surface and nooks and corners of the land. Backpack models are also available for weeding on steep slopes of the farm. Cutting off the weed before flowering is practiced in recent years instead of uprooting. Here, the farmer practicing organic farming gets enough herbage for mulching. This weeder can bring down the application of chemical herbicide. Nylon rope is enough for most of the weeds, including Parthenium and Eupatorium. But for clearing shrubs, we need 3-tooth blade. Attaching and detaching these cutting tools is easy and takes very less time. Circular blade attachment is useful to cut small trees. It can cut even dry firewood. It is being used for harvesting fodder grass also. The cut herbage gets powdered when the nylon rope is used. But 3-tooth or circular blades cut off the weed just above the ground. Rotating cutting tool of the weeder throws small stones and pebbles on the front side. Hence, one should not stand in front of the working machine. This guard protects the operator. Using this guard is a must for the safety of the operator. Manufacturers of these machines recommend using helmet, ear pad to avoid noise, eyeglass, hand gloves, thick pants, and shirt covering full body, and shoes. Farmers never wear all these. However, it is better to use at least eyeglass and ear pad. Put off the engine while changing the cutting tool. Apart from these, the weeding machine is safe enough for the operator. Do not forget to mix 2T oil at proper rate for 2-stroke machines. If the oil is mixed earlier itself in the can, shake the can well before filling the engine tank. Weeding machine of a standard company needs no major repair work, at least up to 800 hours of operation. 2-stroke engine consumes 750 ml of petrol and works at 10,000 rpm, while 4-stroke model consumes 500 ml fuel and works at 6 to 7,000 rpm. It means that 4-stroke machine takes more time to complete work in a unit area compared to 2-stroke model. Hence, 2-stroke models are preferred for efficient and continuous heavy work. This equipment costs 20 to 35,000 rupees depending on the make and the model. Most of the state governments provide subsidy up to 50%. It is better to select the machine from a reputed company after confirming service after sales, guarantee, warranty, availability of spares, etc. This weeding machine has become multi-purpose equipment now. It is a common practice to cut off the mulberry plant at the base once in a year. It is necessary for healthy fresh growth and more leafy yield. Manual pruning is cumbersome and labor-intensive. Weeder is being used by attaching this special circular blade for this purpose. Mulberry pruning has become easy and fast with this equipment. Pruning tea plants at half height is practiced once in 4 to 5 years. This is necessary for high yield of better quality sprouts. Stem of this plant is very hard and manual pruning is laborious. These plantations with thousands of acres and lakhs of tea plants have to divert hundreds of laborers for this work alone. Now they use power weeder with special circular blade having carbide tip. It cuts the stem without splitting. Now, most of the tea plantations use this equipment. Still weeder has this rubber roll attachment. This is useful to heap paddy, areca nut, coffee, etc. spread on the floor of the yard. It can clean the floor of the cowshed like this. Still dealer from Tamil Nadu has designed a special tiny cage wheel attachment. This is useful for weeding in paddy transplanted in rows. This operation helps for better tillering also. This equipment saves lot of labor necessary for manual weeding. This paddy weeder is popular in SRI method of paddy cultivation and also in transplanter planted paddy fields. Still, Oleomac and other popular companies have introduced hedge trimmer, pole pruner and other attachments for this weed cutter machine. Innovative farmers are using this weeder for many interesting purposes. This man rubs the floor of his cowshed with a metal wire brush attached to the weeder. The same attachment can clean algal growth on the RCC wall. Here, cement floor is getting wax polish. A metal blade covered with thick cotton cloth acts as polishing tool. Now, the same machine has become a grinder, which is useful for sharpening the sickle and other implements. Likewise, the weed cutter is a good companion of a creative farmer. Here is one more important usage of the weed cutter machine. Innovative farmers converted this into a paddy reaper. Circular blade and a bucket are attached at the end. Blade cuts the paddy plant and the bucket helps to keep the same in a systematic row. An efficient operator can harvest paddy in 1 acre in a day, which otherwise needs 15 laborers. Combined harvesters are not suitable for small compartments and terraced lands. This weed cutter cum paddy reaper is sufficient for a small farmer. We can harvest finger millet, wheat, soya bean, sorghum stubbles, etc. with the same reaper. Farmers of the Western Ghat region use the same equipment for cutting jungle grass used as fodder and mulching material. Many people provide brush cutter service on hire basis and earn attractive income. In this case, one machine is sufficient for many farms. Likewise, a power tool introduced as a weeder has become an essential equipment of our farms. Now, let us introduce one more useful machine. Milking twice a day is a tedious and compulsory job. Scarcity of trained people for milking is a major problem of commercial dairy farms. Timely manual milking is not that easy even with 10 to 20 cows or buffaloes. Again, the milk should reach the consumer in time. Motorized milking machine is of great help for this 365 days job. This machine was introduced in the 80s itself, but it was not accepted widely by our farmers due to high cost and some misconceptions. There are both manual and motorized types. However, the manual model is not popular, with which one has to work continuously. Hence, we find motorized milking machine everywhere. We can milk with 1, 2, 3 or 4 cans at a time with this machine. Compressor for creating vacuum, milk collection can and milking tubes are the major parts of this machine. This 1.5 HP compressor runs with single-phase electric motor. However, we have to keep oil engine or a generator set as standby to face electricity failure. More vacuum level disturbs the milking animal, and less vacuum leaves milk in the udder. Hence, we have to set the vacuum level at 5 kg per square centimeter to 9 kg per square centimeter on this gauge. This PVC pipeline running along the length of the shed connects the vacuum chamber with the milking cans. This pipe has valves at regular intervals to enable attaching milk cans. This hose pipe connects the valve and the can. Opening this valve will run the vacuum to the milking can. Suck water in the bucket by dipping the milking tubes. Cleaning these tubes and the can before milking will avoid spoiling of milk. Then close the cap of the can and lock it so that the can becomes airtight. Clean the udder and the teats as usual. Then open the vacuum and attach the milking tubes to the teats. It attaches itself firmly due to vacuum. Now the vacuum is continuous from the compressor to the udder of the cow. The milking tube presses the teats gently like this and takes out the milk. It does not suck the milk. Milk flows to the collecting can through these tubes. Now the flow of milk is seen clearly through these transparent tubes. Hold the milking tubes pulled down gently like this once the milk flow recedes. This helps to take out leftover milk in the udder. Delay in detaching the milking tubes after milking is over will not create any problem. Blood will never come out as many innocent people suspect. Animal will take 2 to 3 days to adjust to this machine milking in its first calving. Later, it will be a routine thing for the cow. Single person can handle milking with 2 cans. In bigger dairies, using 4 cans at a time needs 2 people. We can milk 8 cows with 10 to 12 liters of milk yield in 1 hour with 1 can. Technically, milking should be completed in 6 to 7 minutes from an animal with any amount of milk for maximum milk yield. This milking machine completes the task in specified time, and hence farmers record high milk yield up to 10%. Machine milking avoids any damage to the udder muscles. Clean and complete milking avoids the chance of mastitis also. Milk remains unspoiled up to 2 to 3 hours in machine milking due to cleanliness. However, big dairies store the milk in chilling kettle at 12 to 14 degrees centigrade till it is sent to the market. Clean the milking tubes and the can by sucking hot water after milking is over. Clean it again in cold water with soap powder. Any negligence in cleaning will lead to spoiling of milk on the next day. We find many brands in this motorized milking machine in the open market. However, D-Label machine from Sweden is very popular. This machine and the spare parts are highly durable. We need to replace the milking tube cluster once in 2 years, which costs around 1,200 rupees. Now this machine is common. even in small dairies with 15 to 20 cows. Hand milking is seen even now in most of the buffalo dairies. However, this milking machine is equally suitable for buffaloes also. The manufacturer will provide cluster with bigger milking tubes for buffaloes. Compressor with one milking can set will cost Rs 60,000. Additional milking can sets cost Rs 25,000 each. Cost of high-yielding cow or buffalo is 50 to 60,000 rupees now. Then, for a farmer keeping 10 to 20 animals, this machine is definitely affordable. We can conclude that for timely and clean milking, this machine is very helpful. This plays a major role in the success of a dairy farm. Protecting the farm and the crops is one of the important jobs on any farm. Many types of fences are in use to avoid wild animals, stray cattle, and thieves. Stone walls and wooden fences are the age-old practices. In non-forest areas, people use thorny twigs for the purpose. But it is very laborious, costly, and difficult to manage on large farms. Few farmers practiced fencing with thorny metal wires, but this costly wire itself became the target of thieves. Live fencing by planting tall growing species on the borders is practiced everywhere. But none of these fences give absolute protection. Now, electric fence has come as a boon to solve this problem, especially in the forest areas. Traditional fences cannot stop wild bears, deers, bison, elephant, and human beings. But this electric fence can keep away all of them. This is quite useful even in cities to protect properties and big compounds. There is no life threat by this legally permitted fencing system. But the person touching the fence will never forget the shock in his lifetime. This was first introduced by Ibex Gallagher, a New Zealand Indian joint venture brand. Now we find hundreds of indigenous brands in the open market. The main working principle of the electric fence is the flow of very high voltage of electric current once in a second in the metal wires of the fence. But there will be no continuous flow. This gives shock, but no chance of casualty. Hence, this is a systematic method of chasing away the animals entering the farm. Flow of maximum of 10,000 volts and 6 joules energy is allowed in the fence in our country. Authorized manufacturers of the fence unit need to get clearance from CPRI and State Health Department and quality certification from BIS. Hence, this electric fencing system is totally legal and safe for the farmers. Battery, charger, fence energizer, and the fence in the field are the main components of this system. If the fence covers large area, 2 batteries of 60 Ah are necessary. For less than 10 acres, single battery of 35 Ah is sufficient. These are tubular batteries. Charging is done by solar electricity. These 2 solar panels are meant for the purpose. This is solar charge controller. It avoids overcharging and emptying of these batteries. These batteries remain perfect for 7 to 8 years if maintained properly. Electric fence will work efficiently 24/365 days with this system. However, one can use regular electric charger if the electric supply is good. Normally, the charger is kept on throughout the day. This may lead to overcharging of the battery, which will reduce its lifespan. Failure of the charger is also common. Ultimately, all these interrupt continuous working of the fence. However, the method of working of the fence unit remains same in both the systems, and solar charging is not compulsory. This is fence energizer, the main component of the electric fence system. Wires from the positive and negative terminals of the battery are connected to these terminals at the base of this unit. This is on-off switch of the fence unit. This second switch decides the pulse and energy flow to the fence. It has low, medium, and high positions which give out 56, 58, and 60 pulse per minute respectively. Normal output from the fence energizer is 10,000 volts, but depending on the condition of the fence, the voltage flow in the fence wires will be around 8,000 volts. Fence units of different capacities are selected based on dry or wet land, length of the fence, type of animal entering the farms, etc. This red knob is the phase terminal. Fence wires get energy from this terminal. This green knob is neutral or earthing. Electric fence system needs systematic earthing like regular electricity connection. This neutral terminal is connected to the earthing point as well as to the earthing line on the fence. Put water to the earthing pit to maintain moisture in dry season. Strong earthing will enhance the strength of the fence. This red indicator confirms the working of the fence unit. The design of the fence unit varies with the company, but the working principle remains same. Strength of the fence is measured with this neon tester. It has indicator lamps to show the condition as low, medium, good, and very good. This is siren system. Fence will not work properly if phase and neutral wires join together or the live wire touches earth or live plants. It is difficult to observe the fence throughout the length every day. This siren starts blowing if the live fence touches earthing point. However, this siren system is not compulsory. This is cut-off fuse system. It physically disconnects the fence wires from the fence energizer unit. During rainy season, lightning flows very high voltage back to this unit from the fence wire. If not disconnected physically, unit gets destroyed. Hence, this cut-off fuse is a must. Now, let us understand the fencing system on the farm. Output wires from the fence energizer unit run to the fence posts. Granite or RCC poles are preferred for electric fence. However, small farmers use wooden poles, but it absorbs water in the rainy season, which drains the energy of the fence. Polypropylene or porcelain insulators of good quality are tied to the fence posts. Porcelain insulators are cheap, but breakage and loss of voltage is more. Some farmers use regular pipe piece as insulator to save money, but the fence fails to work due to earthing in the rainy season, spoiling the very purpose of the system. Metal wires are passed through these insulators and tied tightly at the ends. Decide the height of the fence and the number of wires depending on the animal entering the farm. 3 to 4 wires are sufficient for pig, cattle, man, etc. Fencing for bison, deer, elephant, etc. needs 6 to 9 lines. Use break insulators in the corners where the fence changes its direction. This type of spring is available for wider entry gates. Rust-proof metal wires are used for this electric fence. Normally, farmers use GI wire of 12 to 14 gauge. This is cheaper than HT wire, but keeps good for 3 to 4 years only. It is better to use HT wires of 260 GSM, which lasts for 20 years. However, the working of the fence remains same, irrespective of the type and thickness of the metal wire used. In heavy rainfall area, fence will have all phase or live lines. Body of the animal touching the fence itself will act as earthing, and animal experiences the shock. But in dry area, it is better if one neutral line is provided in the fence. This will be connected to the neutral terminal of the fence unit. Apart from that, connect this earthing line to nearby live plants to strengthen earthing. This enhances the strength of the fence. Join all the phase lines on the fence with a wire and connect it to the phase terminal of the fence unit. We can measure the strength of the fence with this neon tester, but the regular electric tester will give shock to the testing person itself. Otherwise, connect a wire with cover to the phase line and touch another end to earthing line or to a live plant. It gives spark sound if the fence is working. In one more method, tie a burnt fluorescent tube to the fence pole. Connect one end to the phase line and another to the earthing line or to the ground. The tube flickers with the pulse of current in the fence. These tubes are fitted at the distant corners of the farm to confirm working of the fence in night hours. This is also useful to threaten the nocturnal wild animals. Maintenance of the electric fence is not so difficult. Clear live plants and vines touching the fence once in a month. Tighten the fence wires once or twice a year. These special pulleys are attached for the purpose. Tighten the wire by turning the pulley with this handle provided by the fence manufacturer and lock it. Avoid earthing of phase lines on the fence. Maintain required distilled water level in the battery of the fence unit. Clean the solar panel once in a year. To avoid deposition of salt on the battery terminals, clean it with a cloth and apply grease. Do not forget to open cut-off fuse during lightening. Amount of shock by the fence depends on the capacity of the fence energizer, length of fence, accuracy of earthing, etc. Voltage on the fence line will be between 5000 to 8000 volts. No animal will dare to touch the fence, at least in the rainy season. This farm spreads over 50 acres. This fence unit costs around 45,000 rupees, excluding the cost of wires and poles. Just to give an estimate, electric fencing for 1 acre will cost around 20 to 25,000 rupees. However, per acre cost will come down with more area together. Hence, cost of electric fencing for 5 acres together will be 60,000 rupees. Fence established with good quality materials and equipment will work properly for at least 10 to 15 years. This investment on electric fence is very reasonable when we need to spend lakhs of rupees on cultivation of crops. Drying agriculture products is a difficult job in heavy rainfall areas. Here, the sun will hide behind the clouds for months together, but the farmer is compelled to dry tender areca nut, cardamom, nutmeg and other products despite of persistent rain. Traditional drying system using firewood puts a layer of soot on the product, spoiling its quality. This process consumes lots of firewood also. Further, drying under sun in open yard allows dust sitting on the product. Unseasonal rain is one more problem. To put an end to all these problems, Astra division of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, has developed a fuel-efficient dryer system. This Astra dryer is useful even for home and small-scale industries, producing papad, dry banana, dry jackfruit, etc. He is Mr. M.S. Bhatt, an areca nut grower. Mrs. Sujata Bhatt puts dried unhusked areca nut again in this dryer. It helps for easy dehusking. Unseasonal rain is a major problem here. Hence, they dry tender areca nut, cardamom, pepper, etc. in this dryer itself. This person is Mr. Govind. He uses this dryer to produce dry banana. Mr. G.K. Hegde also produces dry banana and papad with the help of this Astra dryer. Dryer technician Mr. Arun Kumar Joshi constructed all these dryers in a systematic design. We find hundreds of such success stories in the Western Ghat regions of Karnataka and Kerala. Fuel-efficient chulha, hot air cum smoke tunnel, and drying trays are the main components of this dryer. We have permanent big dryers and portable small dryer models for our choice. We can fabricate dryers of any size depending on the requirement. The wall of this small dryer is fabricated by placing a layer of glass wool between two thick iron sheets. This big dryer is built with hollow tile bricks. Both this glass wool and hollow brick avoids escaping of heat from inside. The chulha at the bottom is a fuel-efficient Astra type. Firewood pieces and agriculture waste is used as fuel. This air vent supplies air for proper burning of the fuel. Hot air and smoke pass through this tunnel, releasing heat inside the dryer. But there is no chance of leakage of smoke inside. Smoke goes out through the smoke outlet at the top. The doors have glass wool layer to prevent escaping of heat from inside. This thermometer is fitted to measure the temperature inside. This is the moisture outlet for the escape of moisture generated during drying process. Even the exhaust fan may be fitted to take out excess moisture collected inside when the material spread is too wet. This helps for speeding up of the drying process. Temperature inside the dryer is regulated by increasing or decreasing the fire in the chulha. It is better to construct the dryer under roof to facilitate drying in the rainy season. Now, let us see the arrangement for drying the products. These are the trays with iron frame and wire mesh. It sits on iron angles to make pushing and pulling easy. Product is spread directly on the mesh or on the cotton cloth spread on the mesh. In this big dryer, size of the tray is also big and two trays sit in a step. Weight of the tray is also more when the material is spread. Hence, an independent tray stand is fabricated on small wheels. It enables easy pulling and pushing of the trays along with the stand. Spread of heat is good inside the dryer, but it is not totally uniform. The temperature at the middle tray is 10 to 20 degrees centigrade less compared to the trays at the top and the bottom. Hence, it is necessary to interchange the trays once or twice a day to achieve uniform drying of the product. Different products need different temperature and duration. Hence, it is advised not to put many products at a time for drying. We have to decide suitable temperature and duration by trial and error in first drying. For example, cardamom needs 50 to 60 degrees centigrade temperature for 24 hours. Areca nut needs 70 to 80 degrees centigrade temperature for 24 hours in two phases, and coconut needs 55 to 70 degrees centigrade temperature for 26 hours for optimum drying. Maintain required temperature by regulating the fire in the chulha. Closing the smoke outlet after putting off the fire in the chulha will keep the dryer warm for some time. This Astra dryer is useful for drying papad, banana, papaya, jackfruit, chili, groundnut, ginger, mushroom, and many more products. We get hygienic and clean output of products. Remove soot deposited in the outlet once in a year. Paint the trays and the dryer body once at the end of the season. Cost of construction of this dryer is around 40,000 to 1,60,000 rupees depending on the size. Many state governments provide subsidy for this dryer up to 50%. This is a modified big dryer constructed by Kadamba Society. This is being used for drying cocoa beans on a large scale. Fans push fresh air in this big metal pipe. Agriculture waste is used as fuel in this chulha. Air passing in this pipe gets heated up by the fire and enters the dryer chamber directly. Continuous circulation of smokeless hot air dries the product spread in the trays. The output will be hygienic and clean dried. This is also a fuel-efficient dryer system. However, this dryer is better suited for small-scale industries. Unseasonal rain is a major problem in recent years, maybe due to the phenomena of climate change. Crops harvested from Kharif season often suffer with incessant rain. Innovative farmers from Western Ghat region could find a solution for this problem. That is polytunnel dryer. This gentleman is Mr. Nagraj Manchale. His RCC roof was oozing rainwater due to hairline cracks. He fabricated this poly dryer on the terrace. It is being used to dry areca nut, cardamom, coconut, etc. Problem of oozing rainwater is also solved. Mr. Prakash Manchale wants to dry medicinal herbs and products grown on his farm throughout the year. Here you find cinnamon, ondalega, pippali, pepper, bellerica, chebula, and other products spread in the poly dryer for drying. He could save his products from rain and dust thanks to this poly dryer. Agriculture technician Mr. Raghav Bhatt is popularizing this technology. He has fabricated more than 500 such polytunnels already. This polytunnel is similar to regular poly house constructed for horticulture purpose. Skeleton is erected with GI pipes of required size and shape. UV stabilized poly sheet is fitted on the structure. This poly sheet withstands direct sun for at least 5 to 6 years. Regular poly house construction techniques are used to tighten the poly sheet and also to keep it tight. Horticultural poly house is designed to maintain normal temperature and high humidity. But this polytunnel dryer has to keep high temperature and low humidity. To achieve this, the polytunnel is constructed on a platform at 3 to 4 feet height above the ground, whereas the horticultural poly house will be on ground. Space below the platform is kept empty for free movement of air. Platform is constructed with locally available wooden materials, keeping enough gaps for air movement. Shade net is spread on the platform to facilitate drying of products. Air inside the poly house gets heated up by the sun. As the hot air rises up, cool air enters the polytunnel through the platform. This circulation of air speeds up with the rise in temperature inside the polytunnel. Hot air goes out through this vent provided at the top. This process dries the products spread on the platform. This is the mechanism of drying in this polytunnel. If this polytunnel is built on the ground, one cannot expect this systematic circulation of air and quick drying of the product. Temperature inside the polytunnel is always double the temperature outside. During hot summer, midday temperature in the polytunnel will touch 60 to 65 degrees centigrade. This polytunnel will remain hot enough even in the rainy season, and hence the product spread inside will not develop fungus. This system is best suited for drying areca nut, coconut, pepper, cardamom, ginger, chili, and any other farm produce. Polytunnel provides protection against rain, wind, and dust. It also avoids monkey, cat, dog, crow, and other birds. It needs no fuel unlike other dryers. Keep open the door of the polytunnel if the temperature exceeds 65 degrees centigrade in hot summer and bring it down. Otherwise, the quality of the produce may be affected. Closing the door by evening will retain temperature inside for some time. This polytunnel technology is useful even for small-scale industries for different purposes. This polytunnel is built with 150 GSM thickness UV-stabilized poly sheet. This keeps good at least for 5 to 6 years. Even the wooden platform maintains fitness since it is not exposed to rain. Stable construction, shape of the tunnel, and tightly fitted poly sheet make this polytunnel durable for many years. Polytunnel of 15 feet length and 10 feet width or otherwise 150 square feet area needs 50,000 rupees for construction. Many state governments provide subsidy up to 50%. Dear viewers, the world keeps on changing. Earlier, farming was just a way of life, but now it has become a commercial activity. It should become a profitable profession if we expect the younger generation to return to their farms. We need to acquaint professionalism and improve efficiency of our farming. Dependence on manpower and cost of production must come down. To achieve all these, farm mechanization is one of the best ways. This changeover is quite evident. We are on the phase of transition. Your Shramjeevi will be with you throughout this process. Let us meet again in the next part of this film with many more technologies. Till then, happy farming.